Hello everyone and welcome back to this humble abode of gameplay and memes. Today we return to you once more with another Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever replay cast. Yes indeed, this is going to be yet another comeback of mine to the FAF casting scene, so to speak. And to that end I've got two announcements. First and foremost, as you can see right now, if I hold Control Shift, it does not show any sort of number at the top left. So I did some research. I've tried to install multiple mods about that are about basically the reclaim stuff and things, the reclaim view and all that, and realized after reading some patch notes for the on the official FAF forums and whatnot that apparently all of these mods, all these UI mods about reading the reclaim are broken. They don't work. So that's why you won't be seeing anything when I hold Control Shift. You won't be seeing anything at the top left because they simply do not work anymore. Apparently they will be eventually integrated into the regular FAF client. No mods will be required, but for now we're gonna have to make do as is. And also I tried an ACU highlight mod, which, you know, is supposed to highlight ACUs but no other objects, and that doesn't work either. So yeah, unfortunately, we're gonna have to make do without these, but I am sure we'll succeed for the most part, you know. And the second announcement is that I will no longer be writing the names of the background music that I'm using on screen. The reason being that with the introduction of the smart copyright system type deal to YouTube, at least to certain artists whose music I am using, because, you know, it's royalty free and all that. The thing about that is I still need to give credit, which I was doing by, you know, writing the names on screen, but now to avoid any sort of trouble I will instead be writing the names of artists and songs I'm using in the video description. So yes, not on screen but in the description below. You might find all of the names of the soundtracks I'm using if you'd like to. With those announcements out of the way, let us proceed to the actual cast. So today we're going to be looking at a map created by the illustrious Neroxis Map Generator. Yes indeed, you can see right here. This map is announced as 20 by 20, but considering the relatively small empty spaces all around the main playable area, it looks like it might be, I don't know, 17.5 by 17.5, because I'm pretty sure this is way too big to be 15 by 15, or at least the blank spaces are too small for that, so it must be like 17.5 to by 17.5. You can see it's got a modest amount of reclaim on it. There are some pretty big wrecks here and there, which are actually, upon closer inspection, a whole collection of small wrecks, the biggest of which are the Othum siege tanks, as you can see right here. So yes, if you zoom out hard enough, the wrecks will be clustered together into packs of thousands upon thousands of mass, but upon closer inspection you can see that it is actually not the case, and that there will be a whole bunch of smaller stuff here. It doesn't look like there are any neutral buildings or civilian buildings on this map either, so this time the generator decided not to play around with those, although maybe it was just an option that the creator of the map, or the host of the lobby, decided to roll with. But anyway, you can see that there is a lot of reclaim in the middle. Most of it is in the middle, in fact. And not only that, but there is also a whole bunch of mass extractor spots scattered all over the place. Also, once again, mostly in the middle. They are in those clusters of 3, as it looks like. But also, there are some platforms or plateaus, mini plateaus, so to speak, elevations that are inaccessible by land. For example, these right here, if I can... yeah, there you go. See, these plateaus are inaccessible by land. They exist both at the top and at the bottom of the map, though, as you can see right now, they exist more towards the middle, while those towards the sides, some of them are accessible, as you can see right now, so some of them will be fought over quite heavily, while the others will be just airdropped, or be subjected to airdrops, and then it will be much easier to assert dominance on those. At least that's what we can predict for now. And with that out of the way, let us go ahead and start introducing our players, starting with Team 1 in the orange corner, starting from the southwesternmost position, I suppose we should call that, we've got one of our stars of the show, or frequent stars anyway, is going to be Lyuker at 1900 rank points, playing Aeon in emerald green, going first land. Further towards the northeast is going to be his partner in crime, luvmesomerice. I love me some rice too, what a nice coincidence. At 1500 rank points, playing Cybran in Thalassophobia blue, going first land. Next up, towards the middle, a little bit further back than the other frontal players, but still has a bit of an open front going on here. It's basically just a straight pathway towards his base from the middle without too much trouble, without too many other players getting in the way. It's going to be another Cybran by the name of Connected, a very appropriate name for a Cybran indeed. At 1300 rank points, wearing wet concrete gray and also going first land. Even further towards the northeast, where basically at the northern edge of the map now, is going to be another two frontal players, so to speak. One of them is going to be yet another person that we've showed multiple times already, is going to be Okpuck or Okpuck, or I am still not sure how to pronounce that properly. At 2000 rank points as of this replay, playing his favorite, his signature from what I can tell, UEF, in Coordinate Red. The final player for the front line on Team 1 is going to be none other than Oblii. I have no idea who this is. This might be someone who used another name before. I would have no idea. I genuinely do not know who this is. Enlighten me if I am forgetting something. The reason I'm saying all this is because this person has 2200 rank points, a whopping amount that is the highest in the entirety of Team 1. Playing Aeon in fresh and fragrant orange, going first air, interestingly enough. So probably expecting a very early transport out of this person, which will then airdrop a couple of these plateaus in order to hopefully occupy them. Also note how there aren't actually too many mass extractor spots on the plateaus proper, so like there is a lot of space, but most of it just is simply empty. I guess the generator just didn't feel like filling up all that space, all that elevated space with anything valuable. Last but not least, for Team 1, on the prospective air position, though of course starting with the first land as you usually do on air positions these days, is going to be Tryth, our old friend once again, at 1800 rank points, so definitely not the highest rank out of his team. Yes, playing a UEF in Taiga Green, and was, as already mentioned, going first land, also being a little bit later than the other players in terms of the hydro build-up. As you can see, basically every player on this map has access to the hydro, and some of them have already almost built it up. Never mind, actually, no, they're about equal. I don't know why I started saying that, because the replay is so grossly slowed down right now that there's basically barely any time passing between me announcing different players. But anyway, moving on to Team 2 in the yellow corner. First and foremost, on the diametrically opposite side, which is the northeast, yes, it's going to be InsidiousNoob. What an ominous name indeed. At 2000 rank points in Shrinking Violet, playing Cybran and going first land. Further towards the south, his first ally is yet another Cybran. This game is completely infested with Cybrans. You can see right now there are 4 of them on Team 2 and 2 of them on Team 1. That is extremely excessive if you ask me, but then again, I'm not a pro player. Yes, the first teammate is going to be another Cybran by the name of Edtjuh. I have no idea how to pronounce this name. I'm just going to say Edtjuh every time I mention this guy. At 2200 rank points, going first land and playing in life-given yellow. Moving on towards the middle frontal position, slightly back middle front whatever position, is going to be OerminDerRitter. Yes, a very German sounding name, playing Aeon in Coordinate Red at 1500 rank points, so a little bit on the lower end on this game. Still a lot better than yours truly, but you know, bears repeating or bears noticing. I don't know, do people even say that in English? Bears noticing? I'm not sure. Anyway, playing Aeon in Road Rage Red going first land, and then for a Hydro just like about everybody else in the game. Also interesting to notice how there is only one Hydro per player, and that's it. There are no more Hydro spots on the entire map. Just a little bit of a peculiar observation, I suppose. Yes, moving further towards the southwest as we go along and rattle off all of the players on Team 2. Next up is going to be CholerikerKlaus at what I was so busy pronouncing the name I actually don't see him on the scoreboard. Oh yeah, there you go. 1300 ranked points from Clan JBG. No idea what that could mean. Probably something in German as well, who knows. Playing Seraphim, so our first Seraphim player of the day, at 1300 ranked points, and going first land while wearing Winter Wipeout White, which is now out of fashion, but, you know, it always looks cool, even in this horrifying, dusty desert. The southernmost frontal player for Team 2 is going to be Eyes, spelled like I-S-E, as you can clearly see. Another member of the Cybran nation this time, playing at 1800 rank points, wearing the extremely potent, extremely gorgeous looking, although maybe not on Cybrans, but anyway, usually gorgeous looking Power Play Purple, going first land. And last but not least for this team and for this match as well is one more Cybran, one more time. It is none other than Kaiser Wilhelm der Erste, or the first, as it were in English, playing at 1600 rank points, so once again not the highest ranked player on the air position, interestingly enough, going first land and wearing blues blue. With that out of the way, let us go ahead and speed up the game slightly so we can see exactly what the players are up to. I am sure they will accomplish great things that we will soon witness already. You can see light assault bots, the Cybran hunters coming out from Rice. And yeah, I'm just gonna call this person Rice because that name is way too long and I'll complete my brain will melt if I keep reading that every time. Yes, first light assault bots coming out of Rice. Interestingly enough, scouts, just a whole bunch of scouts rolling out together with the commander from Lyuker. I suppose this excessive amount of scouts is kind of excusable for Aeon. As you know, Aeon Aurora tanks, their main battle tanks at T1, are well known for having the lower health and speed than the equivalents of other factions, but having longer range, and scouts help them out with actually utilizing that range, at least in the early game, until you can construct permanent stationary raiders, which are much more powerful, but, you know, they're stationary and extremely vulnerable. On the opposite side, we've got Eyes rolling out with already a couple of Mantises, supported by, of course, Moles, which will very shortly probably find these Aeon spirits and completely destroy them, because, you know, scouts have famously low attack power for pretty much any faction except Seraphim. Actually, the Seraphim here are in fact coming out with some scouts of their own, interestingly enough, and yes, you can see very clearly the Seraphim Selene has a massive vision advantage over the Cybran Hunter, but the Hunter is much more powerful because it's not a scout, it's an actual assault bot, so easy W there for the Hunter once it manages to find exactly where the enemy lies. Meanwhile, some light assault bots and some tanks and scouts and engineers being airdropped already by Oblii. Just like we suspected, Oblii has already trying super hard to occupy both of the plateaus, at least two of the plateaus that are near his base. Not quite yet occupying the northeastern plateau, in the northeastern corner I mean, but I'm sure that is very soon to follow. Meanwhile, two players from Team 2 trying to occupy the other major northeastern plateau. You can see both Kaiser as well as Edtjuh rolling out a whole bunch of engineers, already constructing so many factories. Well, that is a crazy amount of factories, especially compared to the presence of Oblii on the other islands. Islands, why do I keep calling them islands? They're plateaus, of course. Meanwhile, Edtjuh, very true to his name, is trying to edge build some factories as well as turrets in order to hopefully secure some of his own presence on this plateau. It's not working out quite well so far. There is even an engineer from sorry, is this Tryth or Lyuker? No, this is an engineer out from Tryth for some reason on top of the high ground here, rolling around and reclaiming. Yeah, these engineers are just reclaiming. Tryth is not planning to build anything with them. They're just literally there to reclaim. So, I suppose it is fair the air player wants as many resources as possible, as quickly as possible. Already almost, 40% of the way, almost 50% of the way to T2 as we speak. Meanwhile, his air opponent is struggling a little bit as the factory is paused, and he's urgently constructing more T1 power generators, evidently out of energy here. Yes, you can clearly see he's struggling in a major way for energy. Meanwhile, of course, massive clashes already happening between T1 units on the ground. You can see CholerikerKlaus, just gonna call him Klaus, I guess, Klaus, as well as Ritter, our two German friends, pushing against our not German friend by the name of Rice. Rice, meanwhile, establishing a serious Mantis presence in the area. The commander is also there, but not quite engaged yet. Meanwhile, 4 factories have been constructed around the frontal massing structure by Klaus, and his commander is also here and already queuing up T2 and queuing up some shields and even Utoshala turrets. Or I guess I should say Utoshala turrets and shields, because, Utoshalas always come first. In this case, I'm guessing Rice has seen it, so immediately going for his own T2 as well, and with the Mantises assisting him, he's probably gonna get that even earlier than Klaus. Actually, never mind, Klaus is being helped by his own engineers, so I have no idea what I'm talking about as per usual. Ritter is pushing against 2 players now, both presences from Rice as well as Connected, and most crucially Connected has already built himself up the T2 engineering suite on his commander and is almost finishing his second Cerberus turret, so there is a very serious presence. Meanwhile, though, at the top right corner or the northeastern corner, we see, oh no, InsidiousNoob being reduced below 2000 health by a whole bunch of air force from Okpuck. Yeah, there was, as you can see right now, by all these wreckages, there was a whole bunch of bombers here. Okpuck utilizing the power of the UEF bombers, which are the strongest T1 attack bombers of all factions, utilizing that to almost overwhelm and destroy the commander of InsidiousNoob. Came very close to dying here, but thankfully he did manage to roll out a whole bunch of T1 air defense in time. So now his commander just safely retreats, with Edtjuh securing his position, banishing those pesky auroras as well as artillery pieces. Although the artillery pieces are on the high ground, they are very hard to destroy for the commander. Oblii is attempting to start some kind of a mass land production, I'm guessing. Although I wouldn't call this mass, it's just two factories, but still, it's a formidable presence when you consider that you can barely shoot back at them because they're on the high ground. Anyway, gun speed and range both up for Lyuker as well as T2 land. First blaze tanks as well as shields rolling out. Now Lyuker is ready to push against the technologically inferior Cybran force of Eyes. Already destroying a T1 radar. Oof. That stings. However, Eyes himself is coming into the area with his own gun, so remember, the DPS of the Aeon gun upgrades as well as the other factions' gun upgrades are exactly the same. The different thing is the Aeon, because their gun range is a separate upgrade, is actually... the range on that upgrade is longer, or it makes the range on your main weapon longer than the commanders of the other factions. And you can already see that by Lyuker, getting some first shots into the commander of Eyes. However, it looks like Eyes is not phased and just standing there and taking it for now. A massive land clash can be expected anytime soon. Well, it's already started, more like. As you can see, both a whole host of Mantises as well as Auroras pouring into the area. Interestingly enough, though, the commanders are still shooting each other instead of the other units, which they could have killed all these units and gained veterancy from it. Finally they are both switching to the actual units. Although it looks like Lyuker is only throwing overcharge at the enemy Mantises, but more interested in shooting the commander with regular shots. Well, never mind. Now that they've put more distance between them, they're just destroying the units instead of the commanders. And, well, looks like this engagement has mostly petered out. So nothing to worry about there anymore. Meanwhile, another aerial assault being attempted, this time by Edtjuh, and being completely shut down by the T3 fighters that have already come out of Tryth. You can already see Tryth on top of his air game, at least within the context of this game, as the opposing fighters are nowhere to be seen. You can see there's about 3 fighters out from Kaiser for now. I'm sure their numbers will grow, but you cannot oppose so many enemy fighters with just 3. That is very much true. Yes, another swarm of bombers coming out from Okpuck trying to destroy a couple turrets for, who's this again now? Yes, Edtjuh, but failing a little bit here as, you know, there was a flak cannon and it destroyed all of the bombers in basically 2 shots, so yeah, you can't really count on the bombers anymore when flak is in play, or at least on the T1 bombers. Still very aggressively, both Lyuker and Eyes continue shooting at each other. I would say Eyes has a bit of an advantage as Aeon T2 land units are mostly superior to Cybran ones. You know, the Blaze tanks are excellent at destroying mantises and whatnot, while the Obsidian tanks are extremely proficient at destroying enemy T2 units, especially Rhinos. Well, not especially Rhinos, but including Rhinos. And of course the Aeon mobile shields, which the Cybrans don't have mobile shields, they have mobile stealth generators, but those require a little bit of finesse to use, which, while these players definitely have the finesse, the problem is they also have to manage their bases and also watch the minimap and also do a whole bunch of other stuff that, you know, prevents them from having the ability to micro these stealth generators properly, so they usually don't go for these, at least from my understanding. Tryth tells somebody you are crazy. Who is he talking to? Oh, right, that's right. Would you look at that now? Okpuck has airdropped his own commander on the other plateau that was occupied by Kaiser and Edtjuh. And would you look at that? He's got himself both T2 and gun, so it's a very beefy commander that can put some serious hurt on the enemy units as well. And look at this, the commander is pushing mostly unopposed for now. They are attempting to construct some T1 turrets, but T1 turrets will not stop a gun comm, you know. I'm pretty sure a gun comm outranges those, so that will not work. And it's not like exactly Okpuck is exactly in a rush here. I mean, he probably should be because, you know, who knows, he could be bombed to death like in like a minute. But for now, he's just completely free to construct some Triad turrets, which the opposing forces have nothing to match those. And also some artillery pieces have been airdropped as well from Connected. Currently busy destroying some factories. Of course, artillery pieces are also an excellent counter to the T1 turrets. So basically, even though it didn't look good there for a moment for Okpuck, now it's completely fine. As you can see, the Triads are already blasting the opposing turrets with those once again being unable to shoot back. Massive army buildup happening, of course, all over the front line. Nano repair going up for Klaus. Meanwhile, other commanders are still clashing at the northeast. Well, that's more like 2 commanders, right? The freshly regenerated InsidiousNoob still on fire. Yeah, his ACU is still on fire, but still, you know, still keeps it moving. Still keeps the grind going. Or the hustle, or whatever the kids say these days. A serious amount of turrets being built up by Oblii. I wonder what he needs so many turrets for. They aren't really even shooting anything. But now he's building some miasma cannons, and those could prove some seriously problematic for our friend InsidiousNoob. You can see right now all of this forward production, most importantly at T2 Land Factory headquarters. All of that, and his commander is being upgraded as well. All of that will be vulnerable to those miasma cannons, especially if Oblii decides to build a couple more. InsidiousNoob can be in some serious trouble. You can already see the shield being overloaded by the fire of the miasma cannon. It's going to upgrade very soon, which means, you know, of course it's going to go back up again. But you really do need to hurry because this is gonna happen. This time the cannon missed mercifully, but next time it might not miss, and then you're in serious trouble. He does level up stealth or get a stealth upgrade on his commander, which might help him out, but it won't save his factory headquarters, that's for sure. And Elchavo push, of course, the infamous Seraphim Elchavo is the most powerful T2 unit in the game, being attempted by Klaus. However, it is already being met with our first T3 land units in the game, the Bricks, out from... who's this again? Rice, right, yeah, this man's name is Rice. So yes, those bricks will stop any kind of Ilshow push, or especially a push by a bunch of Aeon flares, as well as Auroras completely dead in their tracks here. Might just wanna, you know, might as well just get these units back to the base and destroy them and reclaim them while you still can, and not give the enemy the reclaim. It looks like Eyes, though, is kind of in a bit of trouble here, as it looks like he's losing ground to Lyuker, although I'm sure he won't mind too much because of so much reclaim being left behind. If this reclaim can be recovered by Eyes himself, he will probably be in a good position overall. As long as, you know, as long as Lyuker doesn't start fortifying within firing range of Eyes' base and will then start bombarding Eyes' main base with artillery, that would be a disaster, but other than that, he should be relatively good. Speaking of reclaim, we've got 89,000 so far by Team 1 and 60,000 by Team 2. You can already see a massive difference, even this early in the game. That is a pretty huge difference. So I'm sure as a result, the economy of Team 1 is going, you know, the overtime economy of Team 1 should look a lot better. And yes, exactly my point here. 1100 versus, well, it was 970 a couple moments ago, now it's 1000. Over 100 mass per second advantage for Team 1. Most of the load is of course being carried by Tryth, as expected. You know, he absorbed so much reclaim in the early game. His rival on the other side, who is Kaiser, is super far behind at 187. Oof, that is not a good look right now, let me tell you. An air engagement, first big air engagement between T3 units happening, and of course, as you can see, as we predicted just a moment ago, Kaiser gets completely trashed here. He is going to take a little bit of time to lick his wounds after that disastrous fight. Hopefully he can still recover before the game is over, as Tryth crosses a 300 mass per second threshold. Complete insanity here. I think, oh, I thought that was another mass extractor. I thought maybe some of his teammates gave him more mass extractors, but this is not the case. He's just that good at the game. Meanwhile, shield going up for Lyuker. I'm not entirely sure if this means he wants more action or if he just makes his commanders, is making his commanders safer. It's hard to say, but I suppose we will see relatively soon. In terms of experimentals, I think at this point in the game we could see some experimentals being, you know, founded. Maybe not completed, but founded. Let's see, so nothing for these folks over here. Nothing so far for Ritter. Definitely nothing for Kaiser. That I don't even know why I looked, honestly. Everything being paused for Edtjuh, and for a good reason. He actually does in fact have a Monkey Lord queued up, already a third of the way done. Gotta watch out for that one. I am not entirely sure if anybody has anything to match it yet. InsidiousNoob over here, not constructing anything of the sort so far. Speaking about Oblii, where's his main base even? I honestly cannot tell where. Oh, well, I guess it's here. He's just constructing some, interestingly enough, T2 power generators for now. His air factory is being upgraded to T3, so he might contribute to the T3 air force of his team as well. Meanwhile, Okpuck is still on that plateau, and at this point he has successfully pretty much eliminated all of the resistance that was around here. Of course, one brick is completely helpless against a commander, because, you know, the commander would just kill it in 2 overcharged attacks at most. So no sweat there. Scouts, T3 scouts flying through the area, as expected, of course, trying to find out as much as they can. I wonder if there could be any kind of nuke rush anywhere. Well, definitely not here. I don't think any such thing has been created yet, but the Monkey Lord is done. Let's keep our eye on that one, shall we? Because, well, we can clearly see it both on the minimap and on the normal map. So at this point it looks like most of the aggression has petered out for both teams. Of course, there is a bunch of loyalists who are being surrounded and destroyed by the T1 spam of Ritter. These loyalists, yeah, connected, should be controlling them. This is a little bit embarrassing that we caught this on camera, but, you know, it happens sometimes, you know. It's just the nature of the game. You don't have the micro for everything. Not even the best players in the world do. You can see some tactical missile defense being constructed in the middle of nowhere, kind of, by some players, including Edtjuh. I'm not entirely sure what they were protecting from. I guess, oh well, there's one Aloha here for Okpuck. However, this Aloha is already a 5-star veteran. It's paid off like 5-fold at this point, I'm pretty sure. So You might have had some... Oh yeah, there you go. It's eliminated 2 massive structures in this little area. On the outskirts of Ritter's base, it's about to destroy another... Yep, there you go, another massive structure. Ow. That hurts a lot. I'm guessing they should have been paying more attention and built more TMD sooner. But, yeah well. Can't always help it, can you? The spam out from Ritter, which is, like I said, I'm pretty sure you're better off just destroying that and reclaiming that, but he's not doing that. He's just sending them to stare down at the enemies who are standing on the high ground. The purpose of this is not quite clear yet, but the Monkey Lord has hit the front lines now. It's currently shooting this weird stealth base that was attempted by Oblii. It looks like that plan has been abandoned as there are now just T1 engineers who are barely doing anything at all. There's a transport out from Okpuck flying over the frontal base of Oblii. I'm not entirely sure what that is about, but it looks like he has reclaimed, I'm pretty sure he has reclaimed his miasma cannon, unless it was here. No, it was definitely here. It is definitely not there anymore. I'm guessing, oh yeah, they are trying to save the commander of Oblii because, yeah, there is a Monkey Lord coming, you know? It would be a very prudent idea to just let your commander fly away. However, it looks like Oblii is not worried at all. Let's see how he fares against this Monkey Lord. Oh my god, there are so many bombers out from Okpuck. What an epic shot with the bombers flying overhead. Alright, let's see how well the Monkey Lord does. We should enable the health bars, there you go. So Oblii's commander is somewhere around this area. He did not fly away, I can't even see him for some reason. But now all the bombers are coming in. The Monkey Lord is losing health extremely rapidly, you can see right there. Oblii is facing him down. Oh my god, reduced to... Oh! He was reduced to just 1,000 health, but then, with the veterancy from killing the Monkey Lord, it came back up to 4,000 and now he's completely good again. Wow. The incredible balls on this man, or, well, woman, I don't really discriminate, you know, I don't actually know. Meanwhile, the Galactic Colossus out from Rice, which is very interesting because Rice is playing Cybran, so how did he get a Galactic Colossus? Maybe it was transferred to him from this person, Lyuker, who knows. Meanwhile, Lyuker is constructing a strategic missile defense, very prudent. You never know when your opponents are going to decide to build a nuke and just destroy your entire base in one shot. A Monkey Lord, yeah, that is more like it. I'm sure the Monkey Lord was in fact built by Rice. Not so sure about the GC. Yes, a second GC coming out of Lyuker. Very well. The swarm of fighters for Tryth is ever growing, as it should. Flying about, destroying some scouts, getting some free kills. A squadron of, what are they called again? Yeah, gunships, right? T3 gunships, a squadron of T3 gunships coming in, flying towards the middle of the map. This is a relatively vulnerable position. I'm guessing he is intending to bait out the Air Force of Kaiser in order to then completely annihilate them once more with his superior Air Force. Is it actually superior though? Let us see. If we click on the triangle here, we can see that Kaiser has got himself 69 aircraft in total, while Tryth is sitting at a whopping 150. Okay, yeah, there is no way in hell, even though of course this parameter, you know, it factors in every single air unit you have, not just fighters, but with such an imbalance, there is no way in hell Kaiser could possibly have more fighters than Tryth. That is simply not in the cards. More broadswords also being built up by by Tryth's teammates, namely Okpuck. Okpuck is also, yeah, creating his own little air force here. Of course, it's no match for the other air forces, but it is being created. Eventually, it might matter. You never know. A very large contingent of bricks has somehow made it across the map's middle, and is slowly but surely advancing on the forward fire base of Edtjuh, which is not protected at all actually. There is no units here, there are no turrets, no anything, and the bricks are just advancing. I don't know if anything can stop them at this point. I'm sure if they get any closer to the enemy base, they'll get bombed into oblivion. Also, there is a massive squadron of opposing bricks for some reason trying to intercept them. I don't think it's a good idea to intercept bricks with bricks. It really won't do anything, as they are way too slow to catch up to anything, including each other. But strategic bombers, yeah, that's more like it. So I'm guessing Kaiser is kind of taking a page out of Tryth's book here and trying to bait some of the opposing fighters into a cloud of his own fighters, using strategic bombers which are cleaning up the bricks slowly but surely. Meanwhile, and Ythiltha rides out from Klaus, actually chasing away a Galactic Colossus and a Monkey Lord. Interesting how that happened. Well, now I know. Now they realize that they are outnumbering the Ythiltha, so they are getting closer and starting to pulverize it. I think the Colossus will go down before the Ythiltha does, though, which means the Ythiltha could get some veterancy and then destroy the Monkey Lord as well. The Strats come in as well. They are bombing the Colossus. Yes, they are bombing the Colossus. Both the Colossus and the Ythiltha go down at the same time. So I'm guessing the Monkey Lord will be mostly fine because this amount of stress is not enough to destroy it. However, the Monkey Lord does walk into the death field of the Ythiltha, losing a half of his health almost instantly. Oh my god, is the Monkey Lord gonna get destroyed by this? No way, right? No, it escapes, at least for now. Its laser is still firing for some reason, and the laser and the Monkey Lord just got completely broken and is just firing at nothing. Yeah, I'm sure those Cybran engineers messed up big time on this one. Okay, stop. No, it didn't stop firing. It's still firing. I have no idea what's happening. Meanwhile, the two Monkey Lords from the opposing player, namely Eyes, are walking along the bottom line, or the southern edges of the map, passing by a sizable group of... it's not a sizable group of Harbingers, as I was going to say. There are very few Harbingers here, but there is a Galactic Colossus. In theory, I feel like this group could take down two Monkey Lords, but not if they fire at the Colossus at the same time. Let's see yet another Clash of the Titans here. There's just 3 Monkey Lords against 1 GC at this point. I don't think the GC has any chance of winning whatsoever. Yeah, it's getting completely fried, and it's not... the Monkey Lords are focusing it instead of the smaller units, so it will get destroyed extremely rapidly. There is a chance that 1 Monkey Lord goes down. Yes. No? Yes? No? Okay, thank god at least 1 Monkey Lord went down, but the GC is lost, and the smaller units have no chance against 2 remaining Monkey Lords, so we can zoom out of this one. The Monkey Lord is still firing at nothing, and there is going to be a massive clash between a bunch of bricks. It looks like the bricks for Rice are a lot more concentrated though, so they will have a very easy time dispatching the opponents who are trickling in one by one essentially, and supported by a Monkey Lord. This is going to be just a complete slaughter. At this point I don't think Rice is producing any more T2 units. He's literally just doing bricks and bouncers, and that's it, nothing else. As opposed to Eyes, who seems to be still producing rhinos, or maybe those were the final rhinos and he has no more of them. Meanwhile, InsidiousNoob somehow Control K's out of the game. I have no idea what's happening, and yes, if you're wondering, this was a Control K. He did not provide any reason in the chat. He just kind of Control K'd out of the game for basically no reason whatsoever. So yeah, that was extremely weird. I have no idea what that's all about. Meanwhile, though, we had a massive fight in the north as well, so it looks like, yeah, there was a Megalith who was fighting a GC, and somehow the GC won. I guess technically it does have more DPS than the Megalith. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's true because, you know, it's a massive laser, while the Megalith just fires occasional bolts of plasma, so it makes sense that it would be stronger. The 2 Monkey Lords out from Eyes are just roaming around, not pushing in so far. Probably should have been pushing together with the bricks, to be honest. Then you might have had a better chance of destroying all of these and claiming all of this delicious reclaim for your own, but no more. A Megalith now comes out of Kaiser, reinforcing his position here massively. Another GC being finished by Lyuker, and in the middle you've got a Monkey Lord with a whole bunch of other stuff out from Connected as well. Once again, if I were Connected, I would have destroyed all of these T1 units and reclaimed them, but oh well. Alright, a Monkey Lord goes down for... Yes, a Monkey Lord does go down for Rice. I feel like he just Control K'd it because it just fell over on its own accord. There are no enemies in the area, so yeah, it must have been a Control K as well. The strategic bombers out from Kaiser are still roaming around, still being relatively unopposed, which is, I suppose, is to be expected as they are defending their own base rather than attacking. Meanwhile, 2 more Megaliths coming out from Edtjuh to meet the 2 opposing GCs. Now that is definitely not a good look for the GCs, especially considering a whole bunch of restorer gunships out from Ritter flies in, so I'm guessing this game Ritter mainly concentrated on the production of restorers, and you can see it paying off already as the first GC goes down, and I'm sure the second GC will start fleeing. Yep, there you go, just turns around and starts fleeing immediately. Let's get a better angle for this one. I'm sure the restorers will get the other GC as well, because why wouldn't they? Yep, but you can see already the rain of plasma on the GC's back side. I'm sure it's very unpleasant, but you know, it's a robot, it can't feel anything, so who cares, right? Anyway, yes, the GC losing its health extremely rapidly. I've never seen restorers destroy something on the ground so fast. Usually they only destroy aerial targets this quickly, but nothing on the ground, even though they're supposed to be gunships like air to ground, but they are much better at anti-air than they are at air to ground, ironically. The two megaliths are still in the area. A strategic launch has been detected. Let's see where that comes from. It looks like, oh yeah, it's coming from the base of Okpuck. So yes, Okpuck has built himself a nuke. It is going towards the northeast. I wonder if it's going to hit the megaliths. Megaliths does not look like it. Yeah, it looks like it's going towards the base. This base right here, I think it belonged to... well, I think this is Edtjuh's main base, actually, as... Edtjuh, sorry. As I'm pretty sure this was the base of InsidiousNoob before. Could have mixed them up, but I'm pretty sure this was the case. Meanwhile, a megalith out from Klaus shows up to support the two monkey lords out from Eyes, who were roaming around doing mostly nothing all this time. The nuke does connect, destroys this base, but I don't think anything serious was lost except maybe a couple of air factories. A bunch of scouts fly in, get completely annihilated by the air force of Kaiser, but I feel like at this point Kaiser might have kind of revealed his cards, as he's probably got a lot fewer fighters than the combined force of both Okpuck and Tryth, and it looks like a massive air fight is about to break out as the Colossus clashes, or as a Galactic Colossus clashes with two megaliths on the ground. One megalith goes down, but the other one will definitely finish off the Colossus. You can see all of the air forces converging in this one giant clustercluck. I don't know, the Colossus is still somehow frying the megalith. The restorers are also there as well. It's a massive air fight. You can clearly see for yourself the Cybran fighters out from whoever this is. I think it's supposed to be Kaiser, yeah, the Cybran fighters of Kaiser clashing with the UEF fighters of Tryth as well as Okpuck. And so far it looks like complete and utter chaos. Look at all the planes falling out of the sky. Just look at it. It's getting completely shredded. The Colossus does go down. It's now just the megalith left. However, it looks like it does not look very good for the air force of Team 2, as you can only see fighters from Tryth and Okpuck left standing, rather flying this time. For some reason, Ritter decides to send his entire force of restorers towards the enemy base instead of towards his, so they get cleaned up as well. The megalith has got only 10,000 health left over, and it's running into a whole bunch of Oblivion cannons, which should be able to destroy it extremely easily. And other veterans, it does give it more health, but then it gets hit by 3 additional miasma cannon shots, and boom, down goes the megalith. Massive reclaim field left over here, by the way. 3 GCs, 3 megaliths just lying around back to back on top of each other, basically. Is going to be an extremely delicious treat for whoever can grab it. Meanwhile, of course, we did miss the fight at the bottom, or at the southwest, I should say, but I feel as though the outcome was pretty predictable because, of course, by the point this one megalith showed up from Team 2, it looks like Rice himself has put out 2 more. So the outcome was predestined, essentially, and even the strat bombers don't help at this point because they just get blasted by the bouncers, which there is now an overwhelming amount of bouncers for Rice as well. Another nuke flies out somewhere. It is flying towards the fire, yeah, it's flying towards the fire base of whoever, this is Oblii, right, his name is Oblii, I keep forgetting, sorry. Obliterates the entire thing. Let's see how much veterancy it got, how much mass is destroyed. Yeah, who launched it again? I'm actually not sure. Okay, it wasn't, I don't think it was this guy. Ooh, but T3 artillery already raining fire upon the enemies. Team 1 has constructed some Aeon T3 artillery, yes, 47,000 mass destroyed, so it has very much paid off. But if you compare that to Tryth's nuke, where is that, I wonder? Sorry, that wasn't Tryth, it was this guy. Okpuck, right? Where is it? Here. 57,000 mass destroyed, so a little bit better for Okpuck there. Meanwhile, though, yes, T3 artillery has been constructed, T3 artillery installations, those extremely powerful, horrifying, massive cannons that blast across the entire map. You can see an Aeon one out from Lyuker, as well as a Cybran one from somebody else. I think it is, yeah, it is this person connected, and he's constructing another one already a quarter of the way done. I'm not sure if they're coordinating their fire or not, but once again, for some reason, both Eyes and Klaus decide to donate a whole bunch of mass to Rice. And suddenly, oh my god, suddenly everybody disconnects. What is happening? Oh, you can see the explanation right there at the bottom right corner. Maver done. Where is the Maver? Oh, yep. All this time, Tryth was in fact constructing a Maver. The moment Maver gets done, it's just going up, by the way. It hasn't even fired yet. The moment the Maver goes up, immediately half of the top Team 2 just leaves the game, leaving just Kaiser as well as Edtjuh to fend for themselves. The nuke lands. This nuke was actually directed at the army of Edtjuh, and it's connected with modest success, I'm assuming. Let's see. 63,000 mass, so it's about... It destroyed less than 10,000 with this nuke. But that means the nuke still paid off because it costs like 3,000. But this of course stops the push, once again stops Edtjuh's push dead in its tracks. At this point, it is not entirely clear what exactly Team 2 can do. Very soon Lyuker will have a second T3 artillery. So, well, connected, and then, like, what do you do then? You've lost air, you've lost half of your team who just rage quit after they saw the Maver. Well, not like rage quit, but more like they realized the futility of their efforts. The main base of Edtjuh at this point is getting blasted by the Maver. Somehow this one cyber shield survives. Won't be standing there any longer, and boom! There you go, a massive explosion which wipes out. Oh my goodness me! Edtjuh decided to control K his entire all of his bases. Basically, every single building of his was just control K out of existence, and there you go. That's the replay. It finishes right here. So yes. Thank you all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this game. Or enjoyed watching it, because I sure did. It was a nice little sort of kind of warm-up game, but it was very interesting, you know, still. So many experimentals, so many... Well, not so many, okay, so many experimentals, and also lots of cool air battles, and we've witnessed all of it. And most interestingly, you know, most of the players actually survived until the end, unlike what we usually see. So yes. I'm glad you enjoyed this, or I hope you enjoyed this. If you enjoy what you see, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And also, don't forget that you can actually send me your replays. If you join my Discord server, which the link will be in the comment section and in the description, you can send your replays there. And with those replays, if you think they are interesting, and as long as they don't have desyncs in them, I will be glad to cast them and upload them on this channel as well. For now though, this is all I've got for you for today, so goodbye, take care everybody, and I hope to see you soon on the battlefields of the future.